Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, today we are also commemorating the birth of Imam Musa Kadhim alayhi salam, celebrating the birth of Imam Musa Kadhim alayhi salam. So I congratulate all brothers and sisters on this auspicious day. We will start the program with the recitation of the Holy Quran by Brother Mason. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه وليكتب بينكم كاتب بالعدل ولا ياب كاتب أن يكتب كما علمه الله فليكتب وليملل الذي عليه الحق وليتق الله ربه ولا يبخس منه شيئا فإن كان الذي عليه الحق سفيها أو ضعيفا أو لا يستطيع أن يمل هو فليملل وليه بالعدل واستشهدوا شهيدين من رجالكم فإن لم يكونا رجلين فرجل وامرأتان ممن ترضون من الشهداء أن تضل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى ولا ياب الشهداء إذا ما دعوا ولا تسعموا أن تكتبوه صغيرا أو كبيرا إلى أجله ذلكم أقسط عند الله وأقوم للشهادة وأدنى ألا ترتابوا إلا أن تكون تجارة حاضرة تديرونها بينكم فليس عليكم جناح ألا تكتبوها وأشهدوا إذا تبايعتم ولا يضار كاتب ولا شهيد وإن تفعلوا فإنه فسوق بكم واتقوا الله ويعلمكم الله والله بكل شيء عليم وإن كنتم على سفر ولم تجدوا كاتبا فرهان مقبوضة فإن آمن بعضكم بعضا فليؤد الذي اؤتمن أمانته وليتق الله ربه ولا تكتموا الشهادة ومن يكتمها فإنه آثم قلبه والله بما تعملون عليم لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير لا يكلف له نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا रब्बना वला तहमिल अलैना इस्रन कमा हमलतहु अलल लज़ीना मिन क़ब्लिना रब्बना वला तुहम्मिलना मा ला ताक़त लना बिह वअफ़ु अन्ना वग़फ़िर लना वरहमना अंत मौलाना फंसुरना अलल कौमिल काफिरीन सदक़ल्लाहुल अलियुल अज़ीम बर मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद सलवात अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद।
Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Barakallah. Okay, we're going to start the Dua Kumal, inshallah. Brother Hasnan Zadi will be reciting the Dua Kumal. Please recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وخاز لها كل شيء وزل لها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أزاله كل شيء يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحت كل اسم اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقم اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تابس الدعاء اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تقطع الرجاء اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك وكرمك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن توزيني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خازن متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني باسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وعظم فيما عندك رغبته اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانه وخفي مكرك وظهر أمره وغلب كارك وجرت قدرته ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا ولا لكبائه ساترا ولا لشيء من عمل الكبير بالحسن مبدلا غيرا لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي اللهم مولاي كم من كبيه سترتا وكم من فاد من البلاء قلتا وكم من نثار وكيتا وكم من مكروه دفعتا وكم من ثناء جميل نستعان له نشرتا اللهم أعظم بلاي أفرط بسوء حالي وكسرت بي أعمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني النفس بعملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بخيانتها ومثالي يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك أن يجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفزعني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تواجهني بالعقوبات على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وعصاتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في الأحوال كلها رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا إلهي ورب من لغيره أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكم اتبعت في هوى نفسي ولم أعترض فيه من تزيين يدوي فغرني بما هوى وأسعده على ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحجة علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاء وألزمني حكمك وبلاء وقد آتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي मुताज़िरन नादिमा मुनकसिरन मुस्तकीला मुस्तग़फ़िरन मुनीबा मुक़िर्रन मुज़िनन मुतरिफ़ा ला अजदु मफ़र्रन मिम्मा कान मिन्नी वला मफ़ज़न नतवज्जहु इलैहि फ़ी अमरी गैर कबूलिका उज़री व इदख़ालिका इयया फ़ी साअत मिन रहमतिक अल्लाहुम्मा फ़क़बल उज़री वरहम शिद्दता ज़ुर्री वफ़ुक्कनी मिन शद्दि वसाक़ी या रब्बि इरहम ज़ाक़ा बदनी वरिक्कता जिल्दी वदिक्कता वज़नी या मन बदा ख़ल्क़ी व ज़िक्री व तरबियती व बिर्री व तग़ज़ियती हक़नी लिब्तदाए करमे व सालिफ़ बिर्र कबी या इलाही व सय्यदी व रब्बी अतुराक मुअज़्ज़बी बिनारे कबाद तौहीदे वबाद मन तवा अलैहि क़ल्बी मिन मरफ़ते वलहिजा बिही लिसानी मिन ज़िक्रिक वतकादहु ज़मीरी मिन हुब्बिक वबाद सिद्क़ तिराफ़ी व दुआई ख़ाज़िअन लिरुबूबियतिक हैहात अंत अक्रमु मिन अन तुदय्या मन रब्बैता औ तुबैदा मन अदनैता औ तुशर्रिदा मन आवैता औ तुसल्लिमा इलल बलाए मन कफ़ैतहु व रहीता वालैत शेरिया सय्यदी व इलाही व मौलाया आतुसल्लितुन नारा अला वजूहिन फर्रत लिअज़मतिका साजिदा वला सुन्नतक बितौहीदिका सादिका व बिशुक्रिका मादिहा वाला कलूबिन तरफत इलाहियतिका मुहक्किका वाला ज़माइरा हवत मिनल इल्म बिका हत्ता सारत खाशिया वाला जवारिहा सातिला ताने तअब्बुदिका ताया वाशारत इस्तिग़फ़ारिका मुज़लिना माहा कज़ज़न्न बिक वला उख़बिरना फ़ज़लिका अन या करीमो या रब या करीमो या रब या करीमो या रब वअन्त तालम ज़ाफ़ियन क़लीलन मिन बलाइद दुनिया व उक़ूबातिहा वमा यजरी फ़ीहा मिनल मकारी अला अहलिहा अला अन्ना ज़ालिका बलाउन व मकरूहun क़लीलुन मक़फूर जसीरुन बक़ाउ कसीरुन मुद्दतु फ़कैफ़ तिमालिल बलाइल आख़िरा व जलील वक़ूइल मकारिह फ़ीहा वहुव बलाउन ततूल मुद्दतु व यदूम मक़ामु वला युख़फ़फ़ु अन अहलिह लिअन्नहु ला यकून इल्ला अन ग़ज़बिका व इंतिक़ामिका व सख़तिक वहाज़ा मा ला तक़ूमु लहु अस्समावातु वल अर्द या सय्यदी फ़कैफ़ बी वाना अब्दुका सय्यिफ़ुज़ ज़लील अल हक़ीरुल मिस्कीनुल मुस्तक़ीम या इलाही व रब्बी व सय्यदी व मौलाया लिअय्यिल अमूर इलैका अश्कू व लिमा मिन नाज़िज जवाबकी लिअलीमिल अज़ाब व शिद्दतिह औ लितूलिल बलाए व मुद्दतिह फ़लइन सय्यरतनी फ़िल अक़ूबाति मअ अदाइका व जमअत बैनी व बैन अहलि बलाइक व फ़र्रक़त बैनी व बैन अहिब्बाइका व औलियाइक फ़हबनी या इलाही व सय्यदी व मौलाया व रब्बी सबरतु अला अज़ाबिक फ़कैफ़ अस्बिरु अला फ़िराक़िक वहबनी या इलाही सबरतु अला हर्रि नारिक फ़कैफ़ अस्बिरु अनिन नज़रि इला करामतिक हम कैफ़ अस्कुनु फ़िन्नार व रजाइ यफ़ूर व बिइज़्ज़तिका या सय्यदी व मौलाया उक़सिमु सादिक़ा لئن تركتني ناطقا لأزجن إليك بين آلهة زجيج الآمنين ولا أصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين ولا أبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين ولا أنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين يا غاية آمال العارفين
يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين
ويا حبيب قلوب الصادقين ويا إله العالمين أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم صدنا فيها بمخالفته وذاك فماذا بها بمعصيته وحبس بين أتباعها بجرمه وجريرته وهو يزج إليك زجيج مؤمن لرحمته ويناديك بلسان آل توحيدك ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك يا مولاي فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك ورأفتك ورحمتك أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يعمل فضلك ورحمتك أم كيف يوركه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوتا وترى مكانا أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفها أم كيف يتكلكل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقها أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربا أم كيف يرجو فضلك في إتكه منها فتتركه فيها هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما ملت به المواهدين من برك وإحسانك وباليقين أكفأ لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاهدي وقضيت به من إخلاص معاندي لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما وما كان لأحد فيها مكرا ولا مقاما لكنك تقدست أسماء أقسمت أن تملأ من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين وأن تجل ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا وتطولت بالأنعام متكرما أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي هتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها أن تهابني في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل كبير نصرته وكل جان نمته كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أظهرته وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم وشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيت وبفضلك سترت وأن توفر حظي من كل خير تنزله ووسع تفزله وبر تنشره أو رزق تبسطه أو ذنب تغفره أو خطأ تستره يا ربي
يا ربي يا ربي
يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رزقي يا من بيده ناصيتي يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب
يا ربي يا ربي
يا رب أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك مأمورا وبخدمتك موصولا وأعمالي عندك مقبولا حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا يا سيدي يا من عليه مؤولي يا من إليه شكوت أهوالي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب
يا ربي يا ربي
يا رب قوي على خدمتك جوارحي واجدد على العزيمة جوانه وحبلي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أسرع إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسرع إليك في المبادرين وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين وأدنم منك دنو المخلصين وأخافك مخافة الموقنين واجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فارد ومن كادني فكد وجل من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخصهم زلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجدني بجودك واعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك وجل لساني بذكرك لهجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأكلني أثرتي واغفر زلتي فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وزمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا رب نصبت وجهي وإليك يا رب مددت يدي وبعزتك أستجب لدعائي وبلغني منايا ولا تقط من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي يا سريع الرضا
يا سريع الرضا يا سريع
اغفر لمن لا يملك إلى الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من راس ماله الرجاء وسلاه البكاء يا صادق النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم يا لمن لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وقلبي ما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوات على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So, as we announced, we are having celebration for the Wiladat of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. I'll be reciting a poem in Urdu, so I apologize to brothers and sisters who do not know Urdu, but alhamdulillah, you're with us, inshallah. And before I start, on your behalf and from my side, I extend our heartfelt wishes and congratulations to the Imam of our times on this auspicious occasion of the birthday of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam. मनक़बत के कुछ अशार आपकी खिदमत पेश है। ये मैंने नहीं कहे हैं, जनाब अलमदार साहिल साहब के अशार हैं, आपकी खिदमत में पेश करता हूँ। देखिए कि बंदगी को सारे सजदों का सिला मिल जाएगा, बंदगी को सारे सजदों का सिला मिल जाएगा, मिल गए काजिम जिसे उसको खुदा मिल जाएगा, मिल गए काजिम जिसे उसको खुदा मिल जाएगा। नारे या मूसिए काज़िम लगा कर देखिए, सातवीं मंजिल पे भी मुश्किल कुशा मिल जाएगा, सातवीं मंजिल पे भी मुश्किल कुशा मिल जाएगा। शाफ़े महशर हमें जन्नत में लेकर जाएंगे, शाफ़े महशर हमें जन्नत में लेकर जाएंगे, मूसिए काज़िम की मिदहत का सिला मिल जाएगा, मूसिए काज़िम की मिदहत का सिला मिल जाएगा। वास्ता देकर हुसैन बने अली का मोमिनो, वास्ता देकर हुसैन बने अली का मोमिनो, मूसिए काज़िम से मांगो मुद्दुआ मिल जाएगा, मूसिए काज़िम से मांगो मुद्दुआ मिल जाएगा। हम गुलामाने अली को खौफ महशर का नहीं, हम गुलामाने अली को खौफ महशर का नहीं, बिल-यकीन शर में हमको रास्ता मिल जाएगा, बिल-यकीन शर में हमको रास्ता मिल जाएगा। नाम से काज़िम की मुश्किल होती है आसान हरकत, तुझको भी मैं शर्म साहिल आसरा मिल जाएगा, तुझको भी मुश्किल में साहिल आसरा मिल जाएगा। मोहम्मद वाले
Jazakallah. Just a few announcements. Tomorrow, Jummah prayers will be at 1:15. On Monday, the 2nd of August, we'll have the celebration of Eid al-Mubahala. Inshallah. Another announcement, if anybody is interested in reciting for Muharram recitations for Noha or Salam, Martabat Marcia, please reach out to me and we can schedule it, inshallah. We'd also like to request please recite a Surah Fatiha for the marhumin of the sponsors. The names are Altaf Hussain, Safdar Ali, Jafar Ali, Atlas Khan, Muhammad Iqbal, Samina Jan, Gul Bibi, Quraish Bibi, and Umar Farwa. And all the marhumin on the monument of Zahra, your own marhumin, and for those whom there is no one to recite Surah Fatiha. Also, we're going to be putting up the list for the list of sponsors for the Muharram Majalis. So please, we encourage you to sign up for the sponsorship of the Majalis. Okay, now I invite Maulana for the speech. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أحبته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Congratulations to all of you guys, the beloved of our beloved Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. May Allah let us be among the Shia of this Imam and Ahlul Bayt, inshaAllah. Month of Dhul Hajjah is month of Anwar and A'yad, alhamdulillah. On the corner each week we have Eid, alhamdulillah, and the Wiladat. And alhamdulillah, we just passed the Eid al-Ghadir, the Eid of Vilayat, and inshallah next year the proof of Vilayat, inshallah, Eid al-Mubahila. May Allah inshallah keep all of you guys healthy, safe, and inshallah happy in dunya wal akhirah. ببركة الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. As a tradition, before we go to the topic that we have, inshallah, important tradition from Musa ibn Ja'far, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu wassalam, that I would like to share with you a very, very important hadith, maybe very insightful. You, when you hear this hadith, a lot of current occasions as the world. If you give me the power, Brother Mason, if the power cord is dying. Thank you. So it gives a lot of sense and new things. Sorry about the new situations in the world. Imam saying that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, كلما أحدث الناس من الذنوب ما لم يكونوا يعلمون أحدث الله لهم من البلاء ما لم يكونوا يعدون. Whenever people start committing new sins, whenever new wrongdoings and sins would happen in the world and the society, the new bala will come to them that they have never experienced, never considered those bala. Whenever people started doing something that before it was no one thought about this. Why we should do these things? It was taboo, it was qabih, it was ugly. When people start committing those things, the new bala will come to them. Because of who? Quran says because of yourself. You are kasabat, your hands, yourself are bringing those things to yourself. And now look around how many new sins is happening around the world and how many new bala are happening in the world. Where is it coming from? I was talking to some people and was saying that if Allah wanted to punish people, if it's a punishment of Allah, it usually happens in one location. Qawm al-Lut, not the whole entire world. Qawm al-Ad, Qawm al-Samud, not the entire world. Why sometimes the entire world is afflicted by something when the entire world is involved with some sins? Inshallah, this is a different topic. We can continue with that if you recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It's a beautiful decoration, mashallah. You seem friendly here. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless those who put effort on this ayat, inshallah, for this. Recite salawat for all of them, inshallah. All volunteers. Recite another salawat for yourself and your health, inshallah. We're following the topic, the course of history of Islam, alhamdulillah. Last session, we started a new page of the history of Islam. We talked about the immigration of Muslims and Rasulullah to Yathrib or Medina to Rasul, which is a new chapter in the whole, history of Islam, in the calendar and everything that we talk about it. So, a few points we mentioned regarding the immigration to Medina, what happened. We talked about the Laylatul Mabit, what happened, and how Rasulullah he left Mecca. He had Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu taking his place, sleeping in his bed, so he had the opportunity to leave, and how it was, how difficult, how stressful it was. Finally, Rasulullah, after having a few days staying in Quba next to Medina, he entered actually Yathrib or Medina, and from there it started, the new chapter for Muslims. When Rasulullah entered the Medina, of course, now a lot of Muslims in front of him for the first time, and all of them wants to have the honor to have Rasulullah with them, right? Each tribe, each head of the tribe are coming and taking the camel of Rasulullah, says, you have to come to us, you have to stay with us, you have to be with us. It's the whole jashna, it's the whole shadi and great moment for Medina and Ahl Medina. And we see Rasulullah is entering because they were expecting. Many of them, they have never seen the leader of Islam. They just heard, they became Muslim because of the the wakil or the other Muslims. They heard Islam. Now for the first time they're seeing the what? The leader of Islam, the Prophet. Is so a joyful moment for all of them. So anyhow, they're telling some, you should come with us, you should come to stay with us. Rasulullah says, leave the camel. Wherever the camel stays, this is the place that I will stay. The camel started, leaving again, the izn of Allah, because we're going to talk about why. Rasulullah doesn't even do anything as simple as that without the izn of Allah. Not the camel, it's the izn of Allah, right? So the camel went all the way and stayed in a piece of land and sat down in that piece of land. It's close to the house of Abu Ayyub Ansari. The mother of Abu Ayyub Ansari, as soon as she heard and she saw that Rasulullah is there, she grabbed, let's say, the baggage of Rasulullah, whatever he had, and she took it inside the house. She took it inside the house. And Rasulullah says, where's my stuff? It says, the mother of Rasulullah took it inside. Rasulullah says, a man will stay wherever his stuff is. So we go to the house of Abu Ayyub Ansari. It's great tawfiq for her. And also because the structure of the house was somehow that it has some privacy that he could stay there temporary until the new location for Rasulullah was ready. Anyhow, so that happened, and Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he actually stayed there until that's the beginning and the beginning of the situation. When Rasulullah is in Medina now, we're talking about establishing the society of Muslim, the first Muslim society, Muslim Ummah. Until then, we just have a group of Muslims here and there. Some of them are in Habasha, some of them are in Mecca, some of them in Yathrib, all scattered, right? Now is the first time to establish a society with the whole meaning of a society. So now the leader of a society, a leader of Islam, should take the actions and steps towards building the society. It's not just you have the people. It's not just we have the community. The community is not the society of Islam. We have to put this together, the community, right? We need to unite the community. How? With some of the steps, we're going to talk about it. So we're talking about what did Rasulullah, what did he do since he went to Medina? What are the actions he did? We can say the most important actions and positive actions that Rasulullah he took to establish the first society of Islam. The first thing that Rasulullah did, and the most important thing that Rasulullah did, is what? To build a masjid in Medina. Which today we call it what? Masjidun Nabi. Inshallah, we have the tawfiq, all of us, inshallah, to go and visit beautiful, inshallah, Masjidun Nabi and House of Amir al-Mu'mineen and those holy lands, inshallah. Anyhow, the first thing that Rasulullah did, it was building a masjid. We're going to talk a little bit about this topic. Why that was the first thing that he did. Why not, having people starting giving lecture and then inshallah other things and then salat and namaz al-Jum'ah, and then it started with building a masjid later on. Why the first thing is structure of the masjid. Literally, we talk about the physical aspects of the masjid, right? Otherwise, inshallah, we're going to pray in this piece of land or in the house of so-and-so until the masjid is ready. No. The first thing he said we have to do is physically having a masjid. Why is so important? To physically work on this and having a masjid, and what happened? The mosque actually, this mosque has a significant role in the culture of Muslim and the society. It is started becoming, we'll talk about it, a place, a location, a base for Muslim. That they were coming to that. It has started, becoming a place that produces Islam, teaching Islam, everything about Islam, and other aspects within the structure of this location that Rasulullah he built it. The mosque was a central gathering point for all social issues and matters, as well as political, military matters, everything that you can imagine. The masjid became that location. When people had to do anything, they were going to masjid. When they wanted to find a leader, in masjid. When they wanted to solve their issue, in the masjid. When they wanted to learn something, in the masjid. When they wanted to do shura and consultation and counseling and everything, masjid. That became a base for Muslims that, they were together. Construction of the mosque was a construction of a what? This new society. It actually built a society. We're going to talk about it how, because it was so clear who is coming to Salat Jama'ah and who is not coming to Salat Jama'ah. Who is the first one who's coming to Jama'ah? Who is not coming recently to Jama'ah? It was that we have the tradition as well. When you see a person keeps coming to masjid, it's a sign of iman of the person. It's a sign of iman. Not a total sign. No, it can be with other purposes. One of the signs of iman of the person that they come to masjid. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it's far. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard. Yes, there's a traffic. One of the reasons is kunu zaynan lana, and be the zinat for Ahlul Bayt. Zinat for Islam is zinat for what? Zinat of masjid. The beauty of masjid is this. What? Is this decoration? Partially, mashallah, is beautiful, right? The true zinat of masjid is what? Tell me, who is it? Mashallah. Beautiful, handsome, and beautiful people are sitting here, right? You are indeed a zinat of masjid. Otherwise, I'll sit down with myself, mashallah. Also, the angels, inshallah, they're going to come if you don't. But because the true zinat of masajid and majalis of Ahlul Bayt are who? Are those who attend the majalis, right? Anyhow, this is the foundation. Look at your life right now. The center of this social aspects, your interactions with Muslim and Shia group, what is it? Through what? Email, center, masjid, the announcement, what is going on, what is not going, Whatever we do, for example, may Allah inshallah bless the soul of Marhumin. The email, the center announcement for Marhumin, Bismillah, group of people saying Hamdun Surah, Marhumin, Bismillah, they get the thawab, right? This part, that part, gathering, whatever we have, it becomes a big part of our life. I was thinking the other day, sometimes we see each other, not sometimes, most of the time, we see each other more than we see our family members. At least once a week, twice a week, we see each other. If we don't have a masjid, we don't see each other that much, right? How great and how amazing is that it's building this society. Mosque in general, also definitely a place of all purposes of Muslims. Think about it. We're going to talk in details about it. Masajid, Bismillah.
I'm just wondering how come the Fiqh Jafi, especially of Shia, they are more focused toward the centers, but not in the mosque.
Ahsan. It's not the Fiqh Ja'fari, I would say, in the Western countries, but if you go to, for example, to specifically countries that are mostly dominant Muslims or Shia, we see that no, we don't have a center. If you go there, it says, for example, just Islamic center, they don't get this concept. Mostly it's masjid, or they have other things such as Husayniyah. And we say why? Because it's actually the importance of masjid. Masjid comes with fiqhi regulations and shara'i ahkam. It's very important. One of the reasons, for example, we do not recommend, for example, to have the waqf here for masjid, with the ahkam of masjid, because we don't know, for example, how long we're going to be here, what is the situation, unless this is 100% permanent, we know the situation and the community and everything. Ahkam of masjid would come here. Ahkam of masjid says someone who is not tahir, man or woman, they cannot enter masjid. If masjid becomes anyhow najis, it's wajib for the entire Muslim to go and clean it. It has a lot. However, the 2 rakat salat in that masjid is not equal to Islamic center, the thawab of masjid, right? But that's why I think now, because of that part of the situation in Western countries mostly, but we still have some masajid around. And if the situation is gathered together, I would say it's the best things to have the place of waqf for masjid, and ahkam of masjid comes, and the community knows it's actually a masjid.
So we should, inshallah, buy next place with the intention.
Masjid. Ahsan. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Inshallah. We're going to talk about it, inshallah. So, yes, masjid or a place becomes a base for Muslim. When I say a base, for all purposes and all affairs, it's not just for ibadah. One aspect of a masjid is ibadah. Okay? And I want to ask you actually to help me in this aspect as well. Masjid or mosques are actually for educational purposes. Teaching, before it was like this. Madrasa was masjid. At the time of Rasulullah, he had people who were coming to masjid, teaching people how to read and write. To this extent, like education to this aspect, right? Non-Islamic education, academic education was in masjid actually, right? We had, like I said last time, We had the area, and you still can see it in Masjid Nabi when you go, is behind the grave of Rasulullah, the Zarih. There's a little bit higher than other locations. It's got Ashab al-Suffa. In that area, they were staying, poor people who immigrated from Medina, they were staying there. Rasulullah had someone go teach them how to read and write with that. You know? So Rasulullah give us maybe more money. No, knowledge, learn how to do it, right? So now tell me, among these things that we said, what other purposes do you think masjid should have? Now that we say all purposes, what other purposes do you think masjid should have, and for what purposes for Ummah of Islam masjid should be used? What do you think? For what? I can't hear you. Ibadah. No, Ahsan. One is for ibadah and worship Allah. What else? Give me the details. Like what at first? The ibadah part, yes. Alhamdulillah, ayat of Quran we have وَإِنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا إِلَّا
The social gatherings there, like the marriages and the nikahs and stuff.
Ahsan, the social gathering, the social interactions of people, you know, they get together. This part of the social gathering, what is this? Is first and foremost, at that time specifically, we had the qazawat, the judgment. The judge was Rasulullah. The judge was the leaders. Leaders are those who know the ahkam of Islam. Judges in Islam and Islamic society should be expert in fiqh of Islam, right? And fiqh of Shia, to be able to judge and to solve. It's up to people to follow or not, but this is what it is, right? Sometimes Amir ibn Ali said, he himself was going to the judge. Some dispute that others had with him, he was going to the judge. The social aspect as well. What else? Unity, ahsan. The unity among Muslims, you know, be together. One of the reasons of Hajj actually is unity among Muslims to see each other, right? When you come here, you see other Muslims, this is a part of unity. What else?
It's like praying is also adding to the social aspect. Like Friday prayer was not allowed to pray at home. You have to go to masjid, at least see in once a week to see each other in that neighborhood, in that particular area. So that adds up more to the social side of it.
Ahsan, yes, exactly. Very good. What else? Qazawat, exactly. This is part of the social aspects, you know, solving the issues and conflicts among Muslims in masjid were happening. That was happening in masjid.
A channel of communication for the masses.
Ahsan, the channel of communication. Whenever they wanted to announce something, they were having Bilal and the Ma'zana, Allahu Akbar. We had different azan, by the way. We had azan i'lam. We have different azan, right? There's Allahu Akbar. Muslims were getting together. Something happened. It's not the time of azan. Something happened, right? Let's get together, all of us, right? So this is another purpose that they had to communicate. Sisters, if they have any ideas for this. Educational purposes, exactly. Madrasa and masjid, they're not separate. Islamic center without madrasa, it's not completed. Come on. One of the biggest purpose of masjid is education. All aspects. Islamic education, that is part of it. And also academic, like I said, Rasulullah, he did himself, right? Teaching people how to write. When he was having the asir from kuffar, right? One of the conditions that Rasulullah was putting to freedom was if you teach, for example, 40 Muslims. If you teach 40 Muslims how to write and read, you're free to go. Look at this. If you do this, you're free to go. A slave, if he knew how to write and read, teach this, you're free to go. The importance towards ilm and madrasa and so on. What else?
Economic.
Ahsan, financial aspects of Islam. You know, in the masjid, whoever needed money, if they were poor, coming, brothers and sisters, we have it still. When you go to specifically Islamic countries, you see that in masjid, someone who does need, sometimes if they can, they stand up and ask for help. It was happening sometimes, right? Masjid should be the place for financial support and help. The community should support masjid enough, so masjid can support, you know, the community and give back. This is one of the most important things. And with respect, with honor, with dignity, to do that. What else? Ahsan, mashallah. The political aspects, you know, it's another important aspect. Whatever decision Rasulullah was going to make, a political decision was within the masjid. Any war decision in the masjid, any consultation in the masjid, announcement, motivating people, get ready for war, Bismillah masjid, what else? Psychological aspects of people. When they were having issue, and when we have issue, what is the best place to go? To come to masjid, to come to the holy places, 2 rakat salat, put the environment is supposed to help us to calm down, to be, relaxed. This is the best. The place that it can remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a place for meditation from all aspects as well. Inshallah, we move more forward towards that direction. The political aspects that we talked about, financial aspects, family matters as well. Consultation. We have in traditions, husband and wife, they were fighting, they were going to Rasulullah, we were fighting. Help us. Rasul was a counselor, you know that. He was a psychologist, mashallah. He was the best psychologist ever in the world, mashallah. Right? We had the tradition, a lady come to masjid to Rasulullah, says, Rasulullah, I have issue with my husband. So says, okay, let's sit down and talk about it. Talk and talk and talk. It's not working. Counseling of Rasulullah is not working, right? The words of Rasulullah. She said, Rasulullah, I hate him. I can't. It's just my feelings. Rasulullah raised his hand and says, Allahumma alif baynahuma. Ya Allah, now this is a special trick. Ya Allah, we ask you that, you make them closer to each other and bring friendship and love, let's put it this way, among these two. Anyhow, and with continuing counseling and stuff like that, she left. One day Rasulullah saw her in the street with her husband. Her husband was probably shoe cobbler, making shoes or something. He was carrying some stuff and she was holding and helping him. Rasulullah says, what happened? You hated him? Says, I did, and now I love him more than anyone else in dunya. Right? Masjid is a place for counseling. And if anything is happening, let me tell you, me and myself, as inshallah, someone who in both aspects trying to serve the community in Islamic and in counseling and in psychological aspects, to me, when someone comes, alhamdulillah, the community coming, when someone comes to me and they reveal their secrets, to me is like I get, for example, flu. I get cold. It's not that, astaghfirullah, brother so-and-so, you have issue with your wife. Ya Allah, sister, you have this. Na'udhu billah. No. We all need. It's part of, it's if you really, it's mandatory. Even if there's no problem, we said come to learn to prevent the issue as well, right? It's very important for specifically children to learn, because sometimes we wait, mistakes happen, conflicts happen, then please help us. Why don't we prevent? We have mashallah, a lot of great people, specifically younger ones, come, well, we're just married, we just want to become parents. What should we do? What are the best things? Bismillah, do this. It prevents 80% of you from having issue and conflict in your life. Right? So the masjid is a place for that. Educational aspects, as we mentioned, as well. We have many ayat of Quran about masjid. Bismillah wa aqimu wujuhakum inda kulli masjid wad'uhu mukhlisina lahu ad-din. In the masjid, make sure you sincerely ask and call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah, when he was in Abu Ayyub Ansari. There was a land close to the house of Abu Ayyub Ansari. Okay? And Rasulullah, from the first thing he did, he said, we have to make the building, the masjid. He says, okay, there's a land over there. Different traditions, different histories says what was that land for, what purposes. Rasulullah, the first thing he did, he purchased that land. Some of the history says they wanted to give the land for Rasulullah. Says, no, I need to purchase it. And look at the vision of a leader of the society and Islam. He purchased a place for the future of Muslim, not the current condition of Muslims. For the future. An area that in different phases, very interesting. He expanded Masjid al-Nabi in different phases, but it had the potential. Today, if we want to, for example, inshallah, we're in the process, inshallah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and dua of Ahlul Bayt, to go to the new place, inshallah, right? Well, if some people, no, inshallah, 1 or 2 more rooms, that's enough for us. No. We need something big with a big vision for all purposes of Islam and Muslimin that can influence not only the entire community, the entire region and area, inshallah, some project, something that can influence Islam, inshallah. Why not? right? Where did Islam, how we influence the entire ummah from one location, this masjid and that masjid all together. In the path of Allah, not being afraid. This is what Allah doesn't like. To be afraid when it comes to the path that Allah is in charge. Maybe not, maybe we can, maybe money, astaghfirullah. The money-wise is the worst thing that Allah says, are you going to provide or I'm going to provide? And something in the society, the first thing when it comes to the society to do, in a community to do something, no, can we afford it? If you're talking about realistic talk, and yes, very good, but not to be afraid of doing something for the sake of Allah. If you go to history of any masjid, they could not afford none of the, even 1% of what they had so far, right? They trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, moving forward with belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah says, get married, do not be afraid of, poverty. Have children, do not be afraid of poverty. Move forward, I'm providing for you. I'm giving you the tawfiq, right? Thinking about it, what can we do, even as a community, to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the future, to have something that inshallah make the masjid not only for Thursday, not only for Friday, not only for ibadah, a masjid for what? A masjid that is good for all aspects, maybe more than this, right? A masjid that the door is open every day, that people can come and go and have their things be solved here. We have a masjid that during the day, if one of our youth, I'm going to be frank, one of our youth wants to leave the house because of some situation, don't go to anywhere else, go to masjid. Panahgah, and the shelter be the masjid, right? And also from other aspects, from the program, the projects and everything, to have, actually we have the traditions, actually we should know that the hadith is saying a big house is the blessings of Allah for a person, for a man. Literally by size. Not this, don't have your perspective. It says a large house is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very interesting. Right? A large, by size, somewhere that can help them. There are many discussions, we're not going to go there. A place that can help, that can afford the future, inshallah, this is another sense. What can we do here? The ayah Quran, Surah Tawbah, Bismillah, no, we don't Bismillah, Surah Tawbah. إنما يأمر مساجد الله من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة ولم يخشى إلا الله فعسى أولئك أن يكونوا من المؤمنين. In fact, يأمر مساجد, those people who build the masajid of Allah, من آمن بالله, those who have iman billah, that they know they spend this amount of money is for what purposes. They don't count it like they're giving land, they're giving money and qarz. Man dhalladhi yuqridu Allah qarzan hasana. They're giving loan to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah at the day of judgment, adha'af and mudha'af, multiple times more, He's bringing it in dunya and akhir. Even in dunya, believe me. Allah will bless them all. He said Allah is not going to be under minnat of someone. I paid you this much, Allah for it. Allah will take this much, it was returned to you more than what you gave, and here's the reward in akhir. Man amana billah wal yawm al akhir. Those people who participate in masjids and building masjid, ta'amir of masjid, imarat of masjid, the building of masjid, are those who have believed in akhirat. Wa aqam as-salah, those people who are ahl as-salat, they perform salah. Wa ata az-zakah, they're those people that you want, they're in the charity, in the zakat. Lam yakhsha illa Allah. They only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With everything for the sake of this. Let me tell you what. Some people, they put their money together. They open a factory, for example. They make tissues. Very good. We all need it, right? Tissues. People clean their nose, they throw it away. Right? This is very good. We needed this still more. Some people put together money to build the iman of human beings and community. Sadaqiyya jariyah is that if you can, this is the history. It's a history of analysis, right? Analyzing history. You pay to purchase one brick of the masjid. This door someone paid. As this level, this much, this size is sadaqiyya jariyah for that person. Someone buy this farsh and then carpet. This much in the path of what? Building the iman of people. All this aspect when it comes to community, supporting Islam, supporting. the message of 124,000 prophets, which is in Islam. It's big, it's huge, right? In this path, there's a competition. I'll do more, I'll be more, I'll be the first one. They put themselves in effort, in ta'ab, they put in themselves in difficulties for the sake of. We had, mashallah, in this masjid, in this, alhamdulillah, community, and other community, mashallah, a group of people, they put together. They'll become personally under the loan of the bank for the sake of the masjid. What if something happened? What if happened? Bismillah, for the sake of Allah, we'll do it. To this level, putting themselves in some difficulties for the sake of, if it is Allah, but the trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and helping in this aspect. So one of the important things he did, Rasulullah, is to do this, to purchase, to spend money for masjid. Rasulullah said easily, give, mashallah. The whole Medina were giving the land for Rasul. No, purchase this. And he purchased somewhere that had the potential. Today you see the potential, right? To see it step by step, building it. As Imam Hussein salam, when he entered Karbala, the first thing he did was what? Purchasing the land of Karbala. Today you see why. They were seeing the future. Amir al-Mu'min, what he did was establishing the foundation for Zuhur of Imam Mahdi. Imam Hassan, all of them. Inshallah, another time we go to how literally by plan they did this. To plan the Zuhur and the Qaybat of Imam. And during the Qaybat, what should happen, right? You will see that the effort of Imam Rida with those debates and everything. That's why we have the Dua, Ziyarat al-Jamia of Imam Hadi, that the faraz of the great information about Imam and Imamate, right? He's the makhzan of ilm, he's the arkan, he's the pillars of Shia before couldn't take it. The Imams are to this level, step by step, building this foundation. Anyhow, so very important things that happened during this time is that when they built the masjid, the first initial phase of masjid, they were having people's houses around the masjid. We talked about it, and the doors opening towards masjid. When they were building, Rasulullah himself, he was participating in building the masjid with his hands. Muslims are going, Rasulullah, please. He was like, go get another one. I have to do it myself. Rasulullah, he needs himself, and he's teaching them, and he needs himself to participate physically in masjid. He's the one who is leading. This should be the masjid, this way, this how to do it, but he's participating. That is all of us. And the whole Medina were here and there participating. And a good tradition about, a story about Ammar Yasir, you heard about this, that Ammar Yasir was a young man at that time. He was strong. And they were taking advantage of him. That they were bringing, for example, one block of bricks, and when he was coming, they're giving him 3. He was, and then even Rasulullah, he complained. He says, Rasulullah, look what they're doing to me. They're killing me. They're putting more load of, this bricks on me, while they're doing it 1 or 2 themselves. Rasulullah smiled, or he said, they're not going to kill you. You're going to be killed by fa'at baghiyah. You're going to be killed by those group of oppressors. Then Ammar became the shakhis and the measure of haqq. Haqq and batil between 2 groups. All the way to Safin of Muawiyah alayhi al-Hawi. When it happens, one of the buzurg of the, that region, he came to Muawiyah and says, I'm going to support you. But during the war, literally, he heard that, he said, Ammar is on that side. I heard that Ammar is on the other side. He said that, no, they were lying. No, Ammar is not on the side. Don't worry about it. He said, I have to do myself do research, because Ammar is on the side of Ali, I'm not going to fight with you. Because we all heard about the hadith of Rasulullah, right? When he and Ibn As, they heard this, they killed him in the middle of the way, wrapped it up, so he would not bring the Tafraq in the army of Muawiyah. And of course they killed him, but what did they say? Ali brought him to the war. So Ali killed him. Such a naive logic and analogy. If Ali killed him by bringing him, this na'uzubillah, then Rasulullah, he killed all the Muslims who brought them to war, right? Then whoever is, but people are jahil and ignorant enough to accept it. this was another important, story that happened at that time. And anyhow, so Rasulullah, to wrap it up, Rasulullah, he built the masjid. The masjid became a location for people, for any aspects, any affairs, anything that they wanted to do. That was the first pillar of building the ummah of Islam, the society of Islam. That's why any society, any community, if you go and there's no masjid, there's no strong community. In the United States, some states we go, there's small few families, they can't do anything. At least they go rent a room, a place somewhere to get together, not in their house, to get together, to have a masjid to pray together and everything, right? That is why the thawab of, like I said, a'mal and ibadah and salat, 2 rakat salat inside the masjid and outside the masjid are not equal. The location and time matters, right? Within 2 minutes is azan, inshallah, right? The time in Islam matters. Before and after, you cannot pray, right? During that time that they tell you. The location matters. في بيوت أذن الله أن يذكر فيها اسمه. There are some buyut, there are some places that have location that Allah gave permission to be exalted and to be. So, inshallah, we need to learn from this first action of Rasulullah in the Ummah of Islam by improving, inshallah, our masajid, our Islamic centers, inshallah, and moving towards that direction by being part of it. Part of it is just the physical aspects, part of it being volunteers to support, to help. There should be a competition, brothers and sisters. That says, brothers, we have enough volunteers. No, please, this is my time. This is my turn. I have to be volunteers. Versus, can you please fill up the roster? It shouldn't be. I should be the first one who says, I will do it. So inshallah, moving towards that direction, and this sunnah of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And to be able to have the tawfiq, inshallah, to be active, and inshallah, the future of the society, the future of children, and the ummah of Islam, inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad wa ajjal farajhum. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj. العافية والناس ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره لشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. Ya Allah, for the sake of this beautiful month and holy month and anwar of this month and ayat of this month, hasten the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Let us be strong in the path of Iman, Islam, Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Do not let anyone from our generation to be against this path. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, let us be active in the path of supporting Islam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, those who have hajat and requests, for the sake of this time, the time of Azan, give them all khair hajat. My brothers and sisters, keep them safe, healthy, from all aspects, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, those who are under difficulties, provide opportunities for their freedom. Those who are sick, heal them, and those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gathering to their soul, inshallah. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. Shall we get ready for salah?